That is why America will always choose independence and cooperation over global governance, control, and domination. We will never surrender America's sovereignty to an unelected, unaccountable global bureaucracy. America is governed by Americans. We reject the ideology of globalism, and we embrace the doctrine of patriotism. Around the world, responsible nations must defend against threats to sovereignty, not just from global governments, but also from other new forms of coercion and domination.
Lisa Haven here. What you just heard was President Donald Trump at the United Nations 73rd General Assembly there in New York yesterday, September 5th, addressing a whole group of dictators from all across the world, telling them that America denies and rejects their globalist ideals and world domination, and that America will always put their independence first. And I say, hell yes. Thank you, President Trump, for standing and finally making America's voices heard by standing up to this group of globalist dictators. Look, President Obama never did that. Neither did Clinton or any of the Bushes. None of them ever stood up for the sovereignty of America. No, they did quite the opposite. They sold us down the river after signing compacts and all these peace things with the United Nations. They did the exact opposite of what we in America wanted. And finally, we have a president standing against globalists and the ideals and principles of world domination that they're bringing with it. And he even encouraged other countries to stand on the love of their own country as well. I am so excited. We have a president finally standing on the right side. But listen, that's not the only thing that he stood against there when he was at the United Nations. He also stood against the ICC, the International Criminal Court. Take a listen.
For similar reasons, the United States will provide no support and recognition to the International Criminal Court. As far as America is concerned, the ICC has no jurisdiction, no legitimacy, and no authority. The ICC claims near universal jurisdiction over the citizens of every country, violating all principles of justice, fairness, and due process.
That's right. It is not for some international body to decide the fate of the criminals that we have here in America. No, we can handle our own criminals. Thank you, President Trump, for standing against that corruption. But again, that's not the only thing he stood against at the United Nations General Assembly. No, he also stood against one of the most vicious compacts that we've had in a very long time, and that is the Global Migration Compact. Now, I did a report on this about a month ago, probably less than a month ago, a couple of weeks ago. But this compact, in a nutshell, basically says if you don't open your borders, if you don't accept a bunch of illegals into your home, and you don't call your media out or anybody in your country for speaking against them, then you're a racist bigot, and basically you're the enemy. That is what this compact does. It paints anyone who doesn't open their borders as the enemy, or anyone who speaks against migration as the enemy. Legal or illegal doesn't matter. Let me take you to it, and then I'll take you to President Trump's response here. But on the screen, you're gonna see the Global Compact for Migration. It was published July 2018 and signed by over 190 member states. But here on the screen is also a list of 23 objectives. I'm not gonna get into all of them. You can pause the screen, but I'm gonna hone in on objective number 17. It states, eliminate all forms of discrimination and promote evidence-based public discourse to shape perceptions of migration. It goes on, we commit to eliminate all forms of discrimination, condemn and counter expression, acts, and manifestation of racism, racial discrimination, violence, xenophobia, and related intolerance against all migrations in conformity with international human rights laws. Let's pause right there. Basically, that is saying, if you don't agree with migration and legal immigrant migration legal and open borders, then you're a racist, xenophobic bigot. That is what they're saying. And that they take it a step further and tell you that your media needs to start addressing it as xenophobic and bigotry. Let's go to subsection C there, which states, promote independence, objective, and quality reporting of media outlets, including internet-based information, including by sensitizing and educating media personnel on migration-related issues and terminology, investing in ethical reporting standards, and advertising and stopping allocation of public funding or material supports to media outlets that systematically promote intolerance, xenophobia, racism, and other forms of discrimination towards migrants, in full respect for the freedom of the media. There you have it. So if the media brings up illegal immigration here in America, then all funds should be taken away from them and they should be taken off air. They should be known as racist, xenophobic bigots. That would mean Fox News, Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, all off air. That would mean channels like mine, because we want a wall. But President Trump takes it one step further. Take a listen.
We recognize the right of every nation in this room to set its own immigration policy in accordance with its national interests, just as we ask other countries to respect our own right to do the same, which we are doing. That is one reason the United States will not participate in the new global compact on migration. Migration should not be governed by an international body unaccountable to our own citizens.
Thank you, President Trump, for not signing the global migration fake compact. Thank you for not doing that. But President Trump takes it one step further. He even calls out socialist and communist. Take a listen.
Venezuela was one of the richest countries on earth. Today, socialism has bankrupted the oil-rich nation and driven its people into abject poverty. Virtually everywhere socialism or communism has been tried, it has produced suffering, corruption, and decay. Socialism's thirst for power leads to expansion, incursion, and oppression. All nations of the world should resist socialism and the misery that it brings to everyone.
Can someone please tell the liberals that? Socialism has destroyed countries for many, many years, and so has communism. We don't have to look very far other than Germany, Venezuela, and some of the things that are happening around us. Yet for some reason, the ideology of socialism and communism is still prevalent because they think they get some little handout. In the end, that handout becomes irrelevant, and you're all left for the dogs. Please let a liberal know today the horrors of socialism and communism, which is where their ideology leads. The free handout you may get for a little while, but I can guarantee you it won't last forever. In conclusion, President Trump ends it with, we're cutting some of that funding. Take a listen.
As part of our reform effort, I have told our negotiators that the United States will not pay more than 25% of the UN peacekeeping budget. This will encourage other countries to step up, get involved, and also share in this very large burden.
Not paying more than 25% of the peacekeeping budget. Thank you. I would even be happy with more of a cut. But as it sits, he's the first president to ever make headway in cutting some of that. Obama did the opposite. Bush and Clinton did the opposite. Anyhow, midterm elections are coming up. I want to encourage you guys, vote. Please vote. Make your voices heard. because we've got some critical things coming up in this year's election. And the mainstream media is lying daily about the president. And more people are starting to think the president is bad because of the lying media. Please start waking people up, letting them know the media is lying to you. If the media is lying to you, they're probably lying about the president. Anyhow, don't forget to check out my partner at Virtual Shield, hidewithlisa.com. Get away from all the censorship. And one way to do that is getting Virtual Shield. Hidewithlisa.com. He's got some amazing deals down there on a VPN. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. If you like what you heard, subscribe, like, share it everywhere. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.